All right, so today I'm going to do a cooldown for my weapon. So you see this cooldown bar here in the lower right. If I don't have a weapon, it goes away. If I do have a weapon, it comes back. If I shoot, when it's red, I can't refire. So if I'm spamming this right here, it's not going to shoot again until it comes back. And then I did it for the rocket launcher too. So the rocket launcher has a longer cooldown time. I thought that would be pretty cool. Oh, killed me. Let's see if it comes back. It doesn't until we pick up. That's good. All right, so cool. Let's get a fresh world and see how we can do a cooldown bar for our weapons. I'm going to go to this right here, and here's a fresh world. Let's go to starter GUI, and then screen GUI, and then add a frame. So you can put this wherever you want. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this stuff today. It takes too long to get the numbers right for the video, and then people get bored. So that'll be good right here. All right, that's going to be my cooldown frame. Call that cooldown frame. Cool. And then let's get a label on that. So hit the plus sign on your cooldown frame. So you have these little plus signs to add things if you don't know that. And let's do a text label. All right, the text label I'm going to make at the same height. I'll just go like this. Boom. Maybe make it a little smaller. Just pull this out. There we go. It's kind of big. Cool. And then you can go ahead and change that whatever you want. In fact, you can even pass weapon names over there so you can have the weapon name for the cooldown, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to work on the mechanics of the cooldown bar. So I called that label LBL. I'm only going to have one label, so I'm not going to get confused. And we'll just go ahead and change the transparency to 1. We'll, let's see, make this bangers. That's a pretty good one. We'll go text, we'll call it cooldown or whatever you want. Cooldown. And then I'll scale this. There we go. And maybe make the text a little different color. What do we have here? Oh, I went right by it. Text color 3. Maybe make that yellow. We'll do a little text stroke transparency. It makes it a little easier to see. Make that 0. Cool. We got a little black outline around there. That's the text stroke. That's the line that goes around the letters. You can't really see it that well in here, but you can play around with it. So on my cooldown frame, I'm going to add 2 frames. Those are going to be my one's going to be my adjustable bar, one's going to be the background. I did this with a text label once too, but here's my frame. I am going to use the numbers on this one. This is going to be my green bar. And this is going to be when it's fully extended. This is going to be when my charge is complete. So let's go to our position on that bar. There we go. Not position, size. Let's go to size on that bar and make it 1 and 0 on the X. And that'll make it 100% of the frame. And then 1 and 0 on the Y. There we go, and that'll make it 100% of the Y on the frame, on this cooldown frame here. And then we make it green too. Let's make this green. So go to background color 3. We called it a green bar. Let's make it green. Boom. All right, cool. So my green bar is square. I want it rounded. Let's go to the green bar frame and hit U for UI corner. Add that. Now you have a little bit of a corner. You know what? We can see our background too. So I'm going to get rid of that. But not right now. Hold on a second. Let's just go to UI corner. And then our corner radius, let's make that 0.5 and 0. And then I'll have the little white here sticking out. I don't like that. So let me go to my cooldown frame and make that transparent too. So background transparency, 1. There, that's nice. But now when it shrinks down, after I fire, I want there to be red so that when it comes back up and all the red's gone, I can fire again. So let's go to our green bar, do a Control D or right click and duplicate. So I just duplicated that. I'm going to make this red bar. Red bar, cool. And then on the red bar, background color 3, I'll make that red. But I want the red bar behind the green bar, right? So I want the green bar to be first. Well, if I go to the green bar and I look at my Z index, it's 1. That's what the default is. If you increase the number, it gets closer to you. So now the green bar is in front. So Z index 2. Cool. Now when this shoots down, when you shoot it, boom, it's going to go down, and then it's going to come back up when it's ready. And I won't get that right, so I'll just do a Control Z to get it back to its original position. That looks good. I like it. I like it. All right. On the cooldown frame, we're going to have a local script. We're not going to do much with it right now. But just remember, I'm going to call this cooldown. Right? Maybe Cooldown Lock so we can see it easy up here, right? And because we're going to be talking to the server, we need remote events. We don't have them. Let's go ahead and make them. We're going to just like put them in here, but I'm going to get the variables for them because I'm going to know where they're going to be, right? So I'm going to put one in replicated storage, right? So local RS for replicated storage, game get service, replicated storage. And then I think I'm going to call it Cooldown RE. So replicated storage, wait for child, Cooldown RE. Now we need this name to be the same as what's in replicated storage. So let's copy this. Let's go to replicated storage, hit the plus sign, add the remote event, and then I'm going to rename it. I'm going to do a Control V. And now this name and this name matches. That's cool. So remember, the remote event connects the client and the server. So you can talk between that. It's a doorway, right? And we don't have anything to talk to on the server yet. We got to get a weapon, right? So let's get a weapon. Let's go to toolbox. We'll go. What about rocket launcher? That's got a nice cooldown on it. Rocket launcher. And it's a Roblox weapon. So it's pretty predictable scripts. Right, so there's my rocket launcher. Just dragged it into the workspace, but sometimes that disappears. So let's go to drag it in your starter pack so you start with it. And then let's look at the script. Let's open rocket launcher. Now the client has almost nothing in it. It has a remote event. Oh no, this is a remote function, right? There's a remote function and it'll signal the server to do the firing and stuff and the equipping and everything. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go to the script that says server on rocket launcher. And then here, I'm going to do a Control F for find. And I'm going to look for equip, right? And when I equip something, I want the frame to be visible. When I unequip it, I want that GUI frame, the cooldown frame to be transparent. So on equipped is where I equip my weapon. Luckily, I got a player here, so I know where to send my request to show the GUI. Cool. Let's get our cooldown. Oh, you know what? We got to get a variable for it. Let's go to the top. Just remember this. On equip, we're going to get back to that. Let's go to the top. Say local RS for replicated storage. It's going to be exactly the same as it was on the client. Get service replicated storage. Local cooldown RE, replicated storage, wait for child, cooldown RE. Nice. Maybe put a space there to make it look a little neater. So we're going to need that. We'll do a Control C. Let's look for our equip again. Boom. There it is. Let's go ahead, and this is where we're going to make it visible. Right? We're going to make that GUI visible. So cooldown RE colon buyer client. Now we need the player, right? That doesn't get passed in as an argument for our function on the other side. That's just saying, hey, we're going here. We're going to this guy. This will be passed into the client. This is going to be our message, and we're going to say equip, right? You can make it whatever you want, but it should make sense. This is going to be the equip message. We're going to make our GUI visible. We're going to have another variable here for the cooldown time, but Lua doesn't require you to supply all the variables, so we're just going to leave it blank. All right, so now we need to unequip it. When we equip it, we're going to send a message. When we unequip it, bummer, no unequipped. Let's go ahead and make one. Tool, unequipped, colon, connect. Let's do an anonymous function here. Function, boom. It's going to be exactly the same, except we're going to change the message to unequip. All right. Now let's go over to our Cooldown Lock that's on our screen, or on our screen GUI frame. Hold on, what did I call it? Screen GUI, cooldown frame, Cooldown Lock. Cool. we need a variable for our cooldown frame. Let's call that CD frame, script.parent. And when we start the game, we want the CD frame to be visible equals false, right? When we pick up the weapon, we want it to show. So I'm going to do a function, local function. I'll say do GUI stuff. I'm not going to be very creative here. I'm not going to need the player because I'm local. I know that it's me, right? The next one was the message. Let's just call that MSG. So that's going to be equip, unequip, or fire. And then we're going to have a CD time for the cooldown time we're going to send from our weapon. Now remember, we didn't actually populate that here. If we go to the server, we have the player, that's who we go to. This is MSG, and then there'll be another value in here for the cooldown of the weapon. We're going to have to find that. We don't have that yet. But we don't need that for this right here. We're just going to show and hide the GUI. So I'll say if message equals equip, right? That was my first message when I equip the weapon. I'm going to say CD frame visible equals true. Say else if message equals unequip. That's how I spelled it, right? CD frame visible equals false. And then since we're here, we're going to have another one, else if message equals fire then. So if you're wondering why I'm doing two equals is for comparison in many programming languages, including Lua, but Java, C, C++. Single equals is assignment. So if you were going to assign message as fire to message, you'd use a single equals. All right, and we're going to do cooldown stuff here. Cooldown stuff. We're not ready for that. But how do we call this do GUI stuff? We need to capture that that remote event, right? So we'll say cooldown RE on client event, because remember we did a fire client, connect do GUI stuff, and get rid of those two extra parentheses. Now let's test this out. Let's see if when we pick up a weapon, we have our GUI down here. If we put the weapon away, it should disappear. So here's my weapon. Boom, there it is. It's gone. There it is. Let's die. Reset character. Cool. This should disappear when I respawn. Good. Pick up the weapon. Voila. Good. It's working the way I want it to work. All right. So now, the moment of truth, let's go to our server for our weapon. Activated is essentially the fire, right? So we're going to look for this on activated. We could right click, go to declaration. Boom, here it is. Oh, look at that. Tool enabled, then we disable it. This is where the cooldown begins. We disable our weapon. We do all of this stuff. Oh, we do a wait. I bet that's like 3 seconds. I know because I looked at it. I looked at it before the video. Let's do a go to declaration. Reload time 3 seconds. Let's go back. There we go. So we could say it's going to be 3 seconds, but we don't know for sure if maybe there's some secret function in here that's delaying something. So let's go ahead and do a time so that we have an accurate number. So after the tool is created, or after the tool enabled is equal to false, let's make a T0 time. We'll do tick, which is milliseconds after midnight from January 1st, 1970. That's called epoch. In Roblox, it's actually coming to you in seconds, but you have decimal points, so you could get the millisecond. So we'll do a T0 here. Then right before we enable the weapon, let's print out the time it took. Let's go print total cooldown time equals another tick minus T0, right? Now we're going to see what that number is down here in the output window. Let's check it out. pick up our weapon. Boom, let's take a look. Look at that, cooldown time, 3.11598. Boom, cooldown time, 3.1162. So it's pretty safe to say that the cooldown time is going to be close to 3.1. Here's a shorter one. Right, let's see. Yeah, 3.1 is going to be good. You probably won't notice a tenth of a second. Let's go with, it's not even a tenth, right? It's 4/100ths of a second. Not even that, 3.3 or something like that. 3.3 hundredths of a second. So let's get rid of our print. We don't need it. We already got our number. I think it's about 3.1. And then we don't need our tick right here. What we are going to do is we're going to do a cooldown RE fire client, because we're just firing, right? We set our tool to be disabled. We're going to pass in my player. Remember, my player has your player in it. Control V. Whoops. Let's just type it out. I didn't get it in the buffer. And then I'm going to send a message called fire. And then I want my 3.1 seconds, right? Cool. Go back to Cooldown Lock. And let's do our fire stuff right here, right? So, oh, we need a bar variable too, right? So let's actually add two more variables. Let's do our bar variable at the top, local green bar. That's the one we're going to move. The red bar is going to stay put. We're going to do our CD frame dot green bar. That's where the green bar is attached to. All right, and then we're going to do a tween service variable, game get service. Tween service. Cool. Now down here for cooldown stuff, we can leave the message there for us. We'll say we need tween info, right? So local TI. This is going to be when we fire, the green bar is going to drain down real quick. So this is going to be fast, right? So our tween info new, we'll say 2.2 seconds, right? It's going to be a fast drain down. Then we'll do our tween, right? So our tween service create, we're going to do it on the green bar. Our tween info is going to have our time info. It can have other stuff too, but we're not going to use that. And we'll do the size of the bar, udim2, and we're going to do it from scale. We're going to make the bar on the X 0. Oh, I forgot something right here. This has to be in curly brackets. So let's put the curly brackets on the other side, curly brackets. So the first value is the X scale, the second value is the Y scale. So this is going to go down for the X to be 0, so the bar is going to shrink down to nothing. And then 1 is going to be the height. We're not going to change that. We're going to keep that at 1, right? So scale is 1. All right, cool. And then let's take a look at our green bar. Yeah, so the green bar, we did a size as a 1 and 0 on the X, 1, 0 on the Y. That's perfect. The first two numbers are what are going to change. Well, we could change that first number, but we won't. All right, cool. We got to play the tween. That's a colon, play. And then we're going to do a tween completed wait. So we're going to wait here until the tween completes. Now we got to recharge. This is the drain down, right? This is the drain down. Control, ooh, let's copy all of it. Control C. Boom, paste it. We don't need to redeclare these, so we can get rid of the local. We can get rid of that local. Whoops, TW, tween. And then we want to change this value to our cooldown time, which is 3.1. But we're going to subtract that 0.2 off of that total tween time because we want to account for the cooldown, for that drain down of the green bars, part of our cooldown. This is looking good. We're going to go back to 1. We're going to resize the Y. Everything looks good. We are done. Let's try it out. It's going to be so sad if it doesn't work. It will work. I mean, if there's a typo. All right, let's pick up our weapon. That's cool. And I'm going to spam it spamming it, spamming it, spamming it, spamming it, boom. So that's pretty darn close. So now we have an indicator to know when our weapon is cooled down. All right, and you might want to use another weapon, right? That's what you're saying. You're like, oh, I don't want to use the rocket launcher. I want to use something different. So let's take a look at. I looked at the laser too. So let's do a laser, right? Laser gun maybe. Let's drag a laser gun in here. Take a look at that real quick, right? So we have a space gun. That's it. Look at the script, right? That's the server side. Open it up. Let's do a Control F. Let's look at equipped for our visible and invisible. Cool, we got a player, right? And we have an on equipped, and that's probably hooked up to the equipped event, right? We have an activated, right? We have the tool enabled. So this is almost exactly the same as our rocket launcher. You'll see patterns. We have a couple different weights, but that's okay. Now you know how to do the measurement, right? So you're going to do a tick, and then a tick for the start, and then a tick printout for the tick minus the start tick, right? Like I did in the video. Then you're just going to enable your weapon again. You're going to get the total time. That's the time you're going to pass. And then here's your unequipped. Perfect. So you can see that once you get one weapon, you can get other weapons, and you can do this, right? So that's pretty cool. Hopefully it works out for you. Let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas, and I will see you in the next video.